Welcome everybody to today's version of the Hero's Journey interview with Simon. Simon, would you be so kind to introduce yourself to our Epro 360 viewers?
Sure. My name is Simon. I'm 19 years old. I study in the United States. I'm originally from Germany, but I moved to the United States 3 years ago and love it there.
Perfect. So could you give us a breakdown of your time currently spent in the US?
Sure. I went to a high school year in Seattle first. So that's what I did when I was 16. I decided to stay there, go to Hillsborough Community College,
Nice.
And now I transferred to Dordt University, where I'm a junior studying business administration and economics.
Okay, so you have a lot to share because you went from high school to community college to now 4-year university.
Right.
Before all that, let us go back in time and share a little bit where did the original idea to study in the US come from, and maybe even start a little bit earlier, before your high school experience. Where were you in life when you thought to yourself studying in the US might be the way to go for you?
Sure. So when I was 13, 14, 15, going into puberty, I lived in a very small village, which was hard for me because I grew up in a big city and I was used to having people around me, having some action. I'm an adventurous person, so I definitely wanted to go out and see the world. And I've had that idea of going to the United States, and after going there for a year, I basically thought to myself, well, why would I go back to that little village if I could just go explore the world? And after I got my high school diploma, I just decided to stay there and go to a college, which was really easy for me then.
So when you first went to your high, I mean when you got back from your high school to Germany, we have this a lot of time when the people feel inspired and they feel like, I love the States, I want to study there. Then you started looking around for, I guess, for options by yourself, or how did you come across the?
Yeah, so that idea started in my head of going to university, and I was looking for online resources, which back then was basically the only start I had.
Okay.
And I was looking at websites and stuff, and first I didn't really find something that would help me, and then I found you guys, and 1 week later, next thing I know, I'm talking to you on the phone. So that's basically how I got into going to the States or to a college really fast.
And then what made you mentioned HCC, Hillsborough Community College, before. What made you chose to go there after you have received several options?
So the whole story behind that choosing HCC is that my other option was University of North Carolina, Wilmington. And I was considering going there, but after looking at the size of classes, looking at the location, HCC is in Tampa, Florida, which is a really cool location. I basically decided that that would be my best option in various ways. Smaller class sizes, better individualization, better location. It was just an overall perfect fit.
Cool. So now, and I think you are in a unique position that you're able to compare, looking back, the community college experience in the US with the actual university experience. Now the thing is, Dordt, that you started attending after 2 years, is also really small.
Yeah.
So if you could, with the best you can, describe for people what they can expect when they choose to go to a community college first and then transfer to proceed with the bachelor's degree, what would that be?
I remember doing a video on that for you guys for the Instagram page, and it really got me started thinking about all the pros that I experienced at HCC, and they surely are the class sizes that I already talked about, but it's also the professors being very straightforward with you and showing you your options. HCC, or generally any community college, is really involved with the community. So if you got something special going on that you really want to pursue really bad, then there's going to be options for you. There's going to be people that know people that can bring you into those positions where you can do your start to really any career. So that's what was important for me. I've had internships opportunities. I've had leadership opportunities where I could go to the community and serve the community. So those were my first experiences of really.
I think the way to put it together, it's that you actually experience more through less, because the quality of the human relationships you make there in this close-knit community actually, this is how I got it, elevate you to actually get your hands involved in more opportunities that maybe a bigger university might not be able to give you.
Yeah, so what I experienced from people going to, for example, University of South Florida, which has 40,000 students enrolled, is that they went to class and that they had professors that they didn't even know personally.
Okay.
So they never talked to them before. They only saw them on their grading sheets, and that was about it. They saw them in class, and they didn't even know their name. So I've had professors at HCC that I could call right now. In fact, I did a few weeks ago. I called one of my earlier professors because he said, if you go to one of my classes, that's like a lifetime
access pass.
Yeah, literally an access pass. Like you can call me anytime if you need something. Wow. I'll write you a recommendation letter. I'll give you that advice. I'll give you whatever you need.
So they become family.
Exactly.
Was that family vibe that you got at HCC a reason that you also chose Dort in Iowa then? I mean, you went from freaking Tampa, Florida to Iowa. There must have been a reason to do it anyway, right?
Yeah. So that was actually the only thing I was looking out for.
Okay.
The family vibe and the close relationships to both student body and the professors.
Okay.
I didn't feel like getting lost at a big university, and I have very strong goals. What I want to achieve. I want to get my master's really soon after getting my bachelor's. I'm already pacing my bachelor, and in order to achieve those things academically, I need to be close to the professors. I need to have good grades. I need to go straight forward. So
you mentioned achievements. Let's stay there for a second, because I think you don't just achieve academically, but you also grow personally at the same time. What's like, if you were able to share a little bit of that, what is your number one lesson in life almost that you feel like you got out of it, and you're also now able to apply both personally and professionally?
I think it's, if you really want something, you have to go get it yourself. Mm-hmm. When I got to the United States first, I felt a little shy talking to people, and that feeling grew very little after being introduced to lots of Americans, because they are very straightforward. They want to talk to you, they introduce themselves and stuff. Right. And I've learned that if I want to, get my stuff done, I just got to go up to people and tell them what I need, what I want, what I can give them, and what they can give for me.
Why would you recommend others then to study in the US as well?
Because it gives you a feeling of independence if you move out of your own country, if you move out of your comfort zone. And once you achieve that independence, you're definitely able to not only, as you said, grow personally, but also grow academically in your career. You just, are in life with both foots. So I think that's really important.
Cool. Now you grow not just academically, we talked about it already, but you have this on-campus experience. Mm-hmm. Can you give us a little bit of an insight there? What is your daily life looking like? Where do you live? Are you able to network with other students as well, both at HCC and then also at Dort?
Yeah, so let's do a little comparison. HCC, as most community colleges, don't have on-campus housing.
They don't. Okay.
They actually had a very little campus right next to the main campus where you could house international students, mm-hmm. So all the athletes and stuff. So I was basically put with 300 other athletes, all the international athletes, and I was the only one that didn't play any sports. But all the other students are regional. So they basically commute to college every day, and you don't have a strong feeling of, spending your day together or doing stuff together on campus. It's basically everybody goes to class, everybody goes back to their house, go on with their day. And at Dort, it's really different because we're all living on the same campus. There's 2,000 people living in I don't know how big the area is really, but it's not that big. Like you can imagine, it's like a school, basically. And you hang out with your friends every day. You can go to your professors whenever you need something. You go to class and you're there within 2 minutes walking distance. So you don't really even have to leave campus. It's basically paradise.
And you call it paradise, and it's all about relationships and the human interactions. That you mentioned before briefly that you also got your foot in the door when it comes to working experiences. Mm-hmm. Maybe share a little bit about that, where you were able to gain work experience.
Yeah, so actually at HTC I was trying to apply for jobs, but they were really packed because there are so many students there that want to work. But at Dort, I've had opportunities working in the cafeteria. Mm-hmm. So I was basically flipping burgers, making fries, all that type of stuff. That's how I started. And then eventually, after getting my social security number, I started using a little bit of a life hack, donating plasma. So that's the only thing where I leave campus. I donate plasma.
Which isn't really work either.
Yeah, exactly. It's basically you're sitting there watching Netflix, pumping your right fist, and then after 50 minutes you're gone. So that was my work experience until now. I've mentioned the other leadership project that I did. That was a nonprofit though. And then I'm going to have a lot of internships in the next semester. So
Let's go there, because I know you, knowing you
Yeah.
and your team has gotten to know you as somebody who strives to lead a bigger life. So flipping burgers and donating plasma may not be the end of your career yet. What are your career ambitions for the future?
I wouldn't say that I have a specific goal that I want to achieve, like, having the corner office with big windows and stuff. I don't think that's my per se goal, but I definitely want to grow to a degree where I can influence other people, where I can do something good that I feel good about and that the other people working with me feel good about. There's a few topics of interest that I have: finance, digital assets, that type of stuff. So that's why I'm doing business administration. I just want to do the best I can, basically. And when I have that on my mind, I think I can do anything I want.
Cool. Now, one last question about where you are. There are states that come with preconceptions. California has a brand out there. So does California. So does Iowa. Mm-hmm. And you're probably aware of this. They say there's nothing in Iowa.
Cornfields.
Maybe can you say maybe bust this myth a little bit and educate our audience how Iowa actually is and whether that's a perfect place for you to achieve your goals, and who should also look into that and who should not, depending on who the person you are.
Yeah, so mentioning cornfields earlier, obviously if you want to study agriculture, that's literally the best place to go. We have a separate agriculture campus, so we have the main campus for all the other students, and then we have a separate agriculture campus. They have their own cornfields, their own crop fields. They do genetic manipulations as far as they can. They have their own tractors, like it's really huge, starting with that. And then I also think that it doesn't really matter what field you want to go into. Iowa is a really cool state. There's one story that I experienced like 2 weeks after going to Iowa. We went to a diner and we met those 3 ladies that were talking to us because they heard us talk in German. And they were like, "Hey, where are you guys from?" And we told them that we're international students, and they ended up paying for a meal.
Nice.
So that was
generous.
those were one of my first interactions with people in Iowa, and that's what I've experienced from there on. So the people are so nice and so forward to you that whatever you want to pursue or achieve, they'll help you. And that's what I really like about Iowa.
Perfect, thank you. And thank you so much for being here and sharing your experiences about studying in the US in general with our audience.
Yeah, loved it.
Let's talk about Epro 360 just for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
What convinced you to choose Epro 360 to make your studying in the US possible?
So I would say the options that you guys gave me. The multiple alternatives that I've had to not only go into one university, but actually being able to look at different universities, looking what are the pros and cons, what can I do here, what can I do there, and you guys helped me throughout all the way of the progress. I think that was really valuable because on my own I wouldn't have been able to do it.
And what was then the greatest value that we were able to provide you with and help you with the most?
I think so. For one, possibly the visa application process, but also getting into university and like, it sounds so little, but creating my own email account at a university back then felt really big. I didn't even know where to start. Now that I'm in the system, I know the system, like, I know my way around, but back then I didn't even know what button to click. So you guys did all that for me. I just had to log in, fill out the questions, and that was it. And everything else was being cared for. That was perfect.
Now, throughout your time in the US, if questions ever erupted, were you able to reach out to us, or did you?
Oh, all the time. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I've contacted you guys several times, sending pictures, sending updates, and whenever there was something that I needed, I could always reach out, and that felt like a very good feeling.
Nice. I was going to ask you, how does it feel to be part of the Epro 360 community?
I want to say family.
Okay.
I mean, it's. There was one time where I was coming from an exam, a final exam.
Oh yeah.
I definitely wanted to tell this story. And one of my friends told me, "Hey, there's a guy looking for you that wants to see you." And I'm like, "Who the hell is looking for me?" And I go outside, and Francesco is sitting right there. And he's like, "Hey, Simon, you want to go for a walk? You want to talk a little bit?"
Francisco, by the way, is one of the Epro 360 co-founders, for those of you who are not aware of that.
Right, so. And I've never met him in person. And all of a sudden, he's standing right in front of me, and I'm like, "Dude, what the hell are you doing?" And then we go for a walk, we talk for 30, 40 minutes. I was planning to go home, but instead I just, stood there with him and had a good chat. And I think that was really cool that he also took the time to see me, to visit me, to see how I'm doing there. It felt like somebody was looking out for me.
Cool.
Yeah.
Perfect. So I know that there are people watching, and this is why, you know, this channel is there for, to educate people who are thinking about studying in the US, but they may or may not have arrived at the final conclusion yet. And I know you, at some point in your life, you stood before that decision. Now you took that leap of faith, you did it. Yeah. What would you tell somebody who is still uncertain whether or not they should study in the US?
I touched on the comfort zone thing before. And if you're really looking to grow personally, you should consider going with Epro and going to the United States. Epro will provide you with everything you need. That's what I've experienced. And after going to the United States, that feeling is just incredible. Being able to be there, going to a university in the United States, I think that's the best thing you can do.
Thanks. Thank you so much, Simon, for having you here.
Sure.
And then for everyone watching, you can reach out to us either by commenting in the YouTube comment box below. Our team and I are usually able to respond within 48 to sometimes even 24 hours. We are committed to helping you. Or you can register on the link below for a free consultation where you will, I think you mentioned it before,
yeah.
You can talk on the phone. So we will find out whether we can help you, and if so, for how much money. I know that's an important topic. It is also possible for you to study in the US. Stay tuned, and until next time. Bye.